Beloved brothers and sisters, I'm Kiaya Ariati. I'm of sound heart and sound mind, and I am the assigned oracle for the 144, the bringers of change, and I'm here to share truth and through the lens of transcribing the word of God to be a way shower, an activator, and to remind that of the sovereign self to come back into the law of one, God's law. If you have not received one of my transmissions before, please ensure that you are in a place where you are able to be present and receive the frequencies and the information without causing any awareness around harm. Keep yourself in a place of safety, as there are a lot of frequencies and remembrance that can take place in these transmissions. I want to talk to you around the ego construct, the ego, and the entrapment of spirituality, and the entrapment that has been created by focusing on ego and the death of ego and the connection to ego and the power of ego. And I'm going to share with you a concept around ego that I've never heard anyone speak to, and the awareness of how ego was created and why ego was created from its origins. Now, in spirituality, we have this idea that without ego, we will not be a human being on this planet. Without ego, we would return to the source and we would not have a physical form, and this is simply not true. Without ego, one can come into the returning of source in physical form. They do return to source. They return to wholeness and illumination of light beyond the story of the distortion of the thought form that created that very idea in the first place. And so we have a range of different thought forms and different ideas as to why we attach to the ego and why the ego is so needed. Who would we be without the ego? Don't demonize the ego. Or we have an idea that we transcend the ego, we become the ego's best friend, and it reminds us to return to ourselves. Now, these spiritual practices all have truth. They also all have illusion. The ego can become your best friend, and you can use it to assist you to return to your source connection and witness it and realize it and recognize it, and you can actually live in a place of transcendence while still remaining with your ego still very much intact. Whilst you can also choose to continue to allow your ego construct to control you and to justify its behavior in the name of oneness. This is something that you see many who are attached to the idea of polarity not merging into oneness, but keep the oneness perspective lens of experience so that they can dance between both realms but never truly become whole. That is the attachment to the addiction cycle of that which is the human experience. The human experience is addicted to polarity, to the sins of separation, to the charge of ecstatic fulfillment, and then the absolute suffering of separation. The entire human experience has been, and I will say that again, has been made up of this. It has controlled us because that's what we knew, and that's what actually felt good. It was created very specifically to be like this. And so we don't recognize or realize that all of the spirituality and the different interpretations of this reality and remembrance are based around the ego construct and working with the ego. However, the ego, you may not have realized, and this may cause you to think a little outside the box of what you've been told, is a created consciousness. It's a technology. The ego construct was created when the fifth dimensional human being was created with a slight separation point in the brain, otherwise known as the corpus callosum, or the internal division between the left and the right hemispheres. And so why was this created in the five-dimensional vessel? Very intentionally. Because the Anunnaki gods did not desire to have a creation that could out-evolve them. And so they put an intentional separation or slowing down of information in a separation point. Because if they made a whole brain, then this advanced being that was created from all of the beings throughout the galaxy could out-evolve them. And they would have. So instead of allowing for this creation to be so amazing in its ability to bring all information throughout this galaxy into one place and create heaven on earth, they desired the heaven on earth, but they wanted to desire to control the heaven on earth. And so this separation point that was created between the left and the right hemispheres, which basically allowed for a slowing down of receiving of source frequency, that created enough of what you would consider to be the separation point of the ego consciousness. So the ego was the point of slowing from source. Now, as we know that where we put thought and power and intention, it grows. That we can create huge amounts of power on an expression or a reality, a person, a being, a narrative that becomes so powerful that it creates its own form, its own reality, its own universe. And so the ego consciousness, instead of being a technology that allowed for a delay of source in form, it became an entire construct. It became an entire expression that was created by the very being that has the separation point there. And so although this is the not self, it is powerful because of the amount of attention and thought that gets filtered through it. And so this technology gathers up every fragmentation thought, every fear, every belief. This technology grabs up every aspect of what you believe you can or you can't do, what is right, what is wrong, because it holds the power to do so by the very creation of it. And so when we look at this and we focus on ego in spirituality, we don't recognize that this is only one separation consciousness. That there are many, many, many separation consciousnesses. That we're only focusing on one. We're forgetting, not looking at, and blinded by all of the other ones. And that the ego construct, being that of a technology that is created from time and space, right? The suspending of time and space, or the minutation of time and space to allow for source to slow down, right? So it's a technology that was created by using and distorting the law of time and space. It creates the push and pull. It creates the attachment resistance energy. And that we can live without the ego construct. And we can transcend the law of time and space and be present. By choosing presence, it does not release this technology because it's become so powerful. You actually have to deconstruct it release it and recognize it for what it is. That it has to be seen as the powerless expression of technology that it is in the not-self and the separation from God. That it is only powerful because we continue to focus so much on it and believe that it is. That if in spirituality we recognized it for what it actually is, a program, then we can choose to see that this program, this push and pull, this time and space being bound in thought, time and space being bound and in a slowing of our receiving from God, then we can open to receive Source. We can open to receive presence of creation in instant manifestation, and our healing journey becomes far more easeful. Our healing journey becomes far more graceful, because this technology, this consciousness that we thought was us, we've been told was us, that has existed only because of karma and holds our karmic footprint, the thoughts that it's been gathering to create the separation point, can be let go and relinquished truly in the witness of what it is. Can you imagine a human race without this one technology? Without this one created construct and this consciousness that causes so much distortion in our reality because of the focus on it. And so my invitation for you would be to allow yourself to recognize that you are bound by time and space simply because of this false illusion, and that your focus on demonizing or attaching to your ego is what makes it powerful, and invite you to see it for what it is, to see it as the entrapment and the way it was created, because we can all live without this. None of us have to hold this. It doesn't mean we won't have separation or shadow, but it does mean that the intensity of the tethering of push and pull can be released and relinquished, and we could actually live in more harmony. If you are feeling the resonance to deciding to relinquish, rewire, and recognize the falsity of this that has controlled your mind, and you're feeling like you would like some support to unlock and become free in this, please let me know. Or if you would like me to create a group transmission, an exchange offering where we go through this recalibration and release on Zoom together, and you would like me to put that offering out as a possibility, please make sure you make yourself known in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to my channel, support my mission, so that we can allow for the truth to be exposed and start to really allow sovereignty